right, welcome to another episode of Nightmare Road. I, of course, am one of your hosts, Deacon, here with the very disgusting daughter of Sam,
Oh boy,
Laura Slasher.
thanks.
And today's episode is today's episode is gonna be, how normally we've been doing like very grotesque, you know, some very grotesque, episodes on people and all those kind of things. And people today we're gonna kind of take it down a notch, and we're gonna do the Son of Sam.
He's a little bit just like kind of weird, just weird.
How dare you? So, okay, so David Berkowitz, right?
hmm
He was born. He was born into this magical land. What the hell was his original birth name? Was it Richard?
Richard David Falco.
Richard David Falco. That's like a name that's more of a, hey, did you hear? Look at that, it's the Falco family, and then he shows up and he's wearing the tuxedos. But instead, he's
Wasn't a family.
Berkowitz, so he's yeah, he doesn't. Oh God, he doesn't have a family. Um,
I mean, he
so
would have if his mom, wouldn't have had
throw
an
him in the
affair,
trash.
gotten pregnant, gave him away. So
Yeah, give him away. So he was given away. He was adopted, and you know, as a kid, what's interesting is there's very conflicting stories about how he was as a kid. Um, some of the stories say, he was big. He was a big boy. You
mhm.
know, some of the stories said that he was very shy, didn't like talking to people, and was picked on. Other stories said that he liked to become friends with smaller kids so that he could bully them, and that he himself was a bully. Some stories said that he was picked on for being so big. Other stories said that he would pick on kids because he was so big. You know,
He was, yeah. I mean, his life kind of sucked, his childhood. I guess I would understand that like a kid would kind of lash out like that, but when he was older, he said that he just liked the attention and
yeah.
he would
So,
do all these things.
so he grew up in a home. You know, it by comparison, like some serial killers out there had a worse childhood. With him, it depends what day you catch him. Like when he would tell his stories, because he was so conflicting himself. Um, just like you'll later find out when you read some of his diaries or some of his letters. There was a journal that I think they found right when he was arrested, and kind
hmm
of like, because he liked to write, like he wrote a
He liked
lot.
to write. He wrote a lot. He wrote a bunch of letters to like neighbors, to everybody, even like up to when he was in jail. He just kept writing and writing. Weird.
Yeah, so yeah, he loved to write. So in some stories, he would be like I never drank Gatorade before in my life, and then like in the same letter, he was like, and Gatorade was my favorite drink. So he like that's pretty much like the way that you get his letters, because he'll say something and then like say something completely different.
Yeah.
So
Which I mean,
so
I don't understand why. Like he grew up, fairly normal. Like his parents, his adoptive parents at least were nice to him, I guess. Like they didn't
yeah,
do anything to him, like nothing crazy. I don't know. They were just kind of like normal parents, I think. And it was just when he got older that he started kind of, I guess, doing crazier things.
yeah. Well, how old was he? Was he 9 years old when his parents were like, "You're adopted"?
He was around that, yeah. 7-ish, something like that.
That's a rough. That's a rough age. They're like, "Hey, David, come here. Come here. Let me tell you something. Sit down there, you old son of a magoog." And it was like, "Hey, what's going on? What's going on?" And he's
It's
like,
not
so then
always
they're
what
like,
they told him though. Like They told him he's adopted, but also they were like, "Your mom's dead."
Your mom's dead, and she died giving birth to you. So he would write down that for years he hated himself. Like, you killed your own mother.
Mm.
Ed Kemper. You know, you're no better than Ed Kemper. You might as well walk around going, mother.
Is it
So
crazy how many serial killers have this weird like mom thing?
yeah, a lot of that is they believe that it's an imbalance in the brain that is you're supposed to detach slowly, and a lot of them don't lose that. A lot of them, like, there's a chemical imbalance where they're not developing naturally, so they let go of things that they should hold on to, like, for example, empathy. you know they let go of that, and then they hold on to something else, like their mother. They cling on to that. you know
Yeah, but a lot of them hate her. Like they hate their
yeah,
mom.
well, yeah, and that's what it is. So a lot of them hate their mother for a reason, like, why won't she love me like I love her?
Mm.
Like, and then and there's that saying where it says, unconditional love can turn into merciless hate. You know, where it's like, yeah, I don't know, man, phenomena. So yeah, so you have that where that it's just a flip the coin, boom, it flips. Like, I love this person, and you're like, I fucking hate this person. But they still hold on to those type of emotions. I mean, when you hate somebody, you know, eventually you stop caring. Like, oh, this person, that who gives a shit? I don't revolve. But these people are not like that. They're like, I hate my mother. You see the way my mother looked at me? She should have. So there's
No,
there's something there, imbalance. Anyway, so killed his killed his mom, the mom killer, and he, was good at baseball. Apparently,
mm,
in school,
yeah.
he was good at baseball because he was such a big kid. Some people said he was like Babe Ruth. The teachers were like, "Wow, you're really good," and they liked him. The teachers were like, "You're awesome." His classmates were like, "Yeah, David," probably because he had a bat. And they're
Well,
like, "This
yeah.
dude could go psychotic."
Also, like he wasn't a. Sounds kind of rude, but like he wasn't a dumb kid. Like he did okay, like in school, and I think there was like one point where he was like improving with his math or something, and they were like all proud of him and telling him like how
Yeah,
great he was and all this.
and and the kids cheered and they tried to pick his heavy ass up, but they couldn't. You know, so it looked like it looked like it looked like everybody else trying to pull out King Arthur's sword, and they can't. Like, that's what they were trying to lift him, and they're like, I can't fucking get him off the ground, because you're not the chosen one. Um,
Was just a lot of things, like a lot of other things. I think like just made him like that. Like he saw for a kid, uh, he saw a lot of people die. He saw like a little girl get
yeah,
hit by a bus or by a car. He saw like a mom and her daughter get hit by some other vehicle. He saw some kid like fall out of
jeez,
a bus and die. Like, and this is all before he was like 10.
they should have called him a black cat. He's like, if he's around, he's like,
Yeah,
yeah, just bad
people just
luck. Like, if you're around him, he's like John Cena to kids with Down syndrome that are like that they're like at the hospital, and as soon as John Cena visits you, like less than a week later, those kids die. So as soon as John Cena enters the room to make a wish, he's like the angel of death to these people.
are real.
So anyway, so he gets a little older. He enters high school. He's a little awkward. He so again, if you want to look up material for David, there's a lot,
It's too much.
letters, journals. It's overwhelming, actually.
Yeah,
There's so much shit out there.
I have notes
They
today.
interviewed
It's too
they
much.
interviewed people. Yeah, they interviewed people, like, what was he like in school, and just like in the military, because he entered the armed forces. Um, just like in the military, whenever students were talking about girls, they said that he would just like immediately shut down and walk out, or would immediately go quiet.
Hmm.
Even there's a story where they whistled at a girl. Nobody does that anymore, but they're like at a girl, and they say that he turned himself completely around. Like, what the fuck? So in the military, I probably in high school too. In the military, they thought he was gay. They're like, this dude.
I know that he
Um,
wrote a letter to his dad. I don't know if it was while he was in the military or after that, like he, like he felt lonely because like girls found him ugly and like all this stuff, and it's just so like he sounds very childish, but I don't know if
yeah.
it was just that he would make himself sound that way, like for sympathy.
But you know what's interesting is so in one of the one of the letters he said, that he was ugly and he was unattractive. He was just some fat kid that no one saw. But there was a lady. They were asking questions about him, and a lady said that he was a stocky, somewhat handsome. She even said good looking some days, whatever the fuck that means. Good looking, like he wasn't ugly, he wasn't fat. It's just like the self image that he had of himself.
Mm, I mean,
Could you?
you want to see
He
it?
looked like the he looked like the honky tonk man. Yeah, look at him. Look at that handsome devil. He looks he looks like somebody put a wig on a hard boiled egg.
It's just I don't know what it is. Maybe in like another picture or something, but like it's just uh
Imagine it's also the haircut. Look at that stupid haircut. It looks like he's 5 years old. Um,
yeah,
im,
it's very weird.
im, imagine if he was wearing like a suit and he take that and just started slicking his hair back, and he would people walk up to him and he's like, forget about it, and he was just like in the street corner flipping a nickel, you know.
I don't think that that would help much.
In my head it does. So anyway, so he goes to the military, right? He wants to make people proud. He wants to serve this country, but also
Well, before
he
that,
wants to.
let's go back a little bit when he started
No.
showing his yes, when he started showing his you don't want to go through the animal stuff when he was 12? Okay, I do. So when he was 12 or like
You're
11 or something,
you're sick. He
he's a
was 11.
serial killer.
I thought this was the redemption of the son of Sam. Like we talk
No,
about his good qualities.
no, that wasn't until 2020 or so. Um, he started torturing animals and killing them and things. He was like 13-ish. Let me see. 13. He killed his mom's parakeet
Yeah, the
by
parakeet.
hmm the parakeet's name was Pudgy. You think that's why he did it?
Yeah, because he was like, yeah, this fucking parrot. They obviously named him. He's a parakeet. Yeah, same fucking difference. Who cares? I got this shit. Got no shit. Same
Oh,
thing. Named him Pudgy because they were looking. They looked right at me. Ma looked right at me, and she said, "We call him Pudgy." You know. Good thing I was wearing pants. Otherwise, they would have called him Little Dick. Um.
oh. You want to know how he killed the parakeet?
Yeah. Go ahead. Tell me.
I'm not laughing because of that, obviously. Um,
What are you
he
laughing at? What do you
well,
mean?
you so
What?
he gave no reason.
What?
He
Oh.
he gave the parakeet small doses of cleaning fluid over a couple weeks until it just died.
It's like, well, we found these cleaning fluids in the parakeet's stomach. Also, his head's missing. Um,
Well, the thing is just that like it wasn't like an accident or like a very like spur of the moment thing. Like he was doing this for weeks.
yeah,
Like
he
it's crazy.
hated Pudgy. He hated Pudgy. Maybe he thought that if he killed Pudgy, all of a sudden he would become slim. Um,
Maybe his mom would pay attention
so-
to the bird and not to him.
yeah, not to him. Yeah, it's that same concept with serial killers. Like, all he wanted the attention.
Yeah.
He said ever since he was a child too. Sometimes he would fall down just so that everybody would look at him. Like, okay,
Hmm.
So he made a habit. He made a habit. One of the letters he talked about how he would land so like he wouldn't hurt himself, but it looked really bad. He made it loud because he
Yeah.
wanted attention. It's like, okay,
Right.
like, as weird as that sounds, it's like, okay, bro.
His words in one of them was that he liked being fussed over, which like
Yeah, that's what he said. He didn't say attention. He wanted to be fussed over, so he would throw
Mhm.
himself on the ground.
Yeah, that's weird.
But he was little. He was like 6.
He
Imagine
was
a
little. Well,
6-year-old just
I mean, his whole life he was like that. You know, like
yeah.
his
So he's
whole
okay.
life he was trying to get
A
attention. I think.
40. I said a 40-year-old man. He like just throws a banana peel and he slips on it. Whoa! Has a sound effect machine in his pocket. Think. Wah, 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 wah.
He's in Mario Kart. Um,
Yeah, he looks up and no one's looking at him. Does
he
it
starts
again.
crying.
Whoa! Yeah.
Gross. It's gross. I think like even like in his younger teenage years, he was like setting fires and like doing all these
Yeah.
things. And I
He said
think
he set over 1,000 fires. I'm like, what?
yeah, it was I think like after he came back from the military, which you want to go into that now, we can if you want.
Um.
I think he did a lot of
Okay.
stuff
So.
around, but
Okay. Okay. So he sets fires. He would also steal. Like he would just steal shit. He said at first it started off with like small things, like I would steal the teacher's pencil, just like little dumb shit, and then like things from the store. And I wonder if he did it because he wanted to get caught.
like for attention.
Yeah, like he was like, "Whoops, I stole this pencil." Wah, wah, wah. You know.
And just that he
Um,
never done felt like nobody ever cared. Like
yeah,
they just
no one gave a
didn't look
shit.
at him. Like nobody paid attention to him at all.
It's just like BTK. Like when BTK sent that out, he was like, "And this is how I strangled him," over the radio, and then people were like listening to him, and he was like, "That guy sounds pretty scary, doesn't he?" Keep listening to it. No one notices him.
Yeah, no, nobody. Is that your cat? Oh, uh,
Yeah, that's my cat. Anyway, so he goes into the military.
mhm.
He had a lot of adventures there. He goes to the military. He begins to so a lot of the people there, because he wanted to go to Nam, but by that time the war in Nam was winding down so much. They're like, look, we don't need to send any more people. Like the war is ending, we're bringing people home, so we'll send you to Korea. You know,
Yeah,
so they start sending people to Korea, and in Korea, this is before the Korean War like really ramped up. So for a while there, they were just there. So they were bored. They had nothing to do. So some of the guys realized that you can buy drugs from the Koreans for nothing, and a lot of the military men, they would go out, bring a bunch of drugs, and then get a bunch of hookers, you know. And they tried, and this is according to him. There's two letters actually that one of them says that they told him like, hey, here's a beautiful girl, you should go with her, because they challenged him because they want to do it. And then he's like, you know what, I'll do it. Another story says that he went himself and to look for companionship. Other stories said that they peer pressured him into doing LSD and smoking pot. Others said that he was just so bored. He's like, yeah, I got it from the hooker. You know.
yeah,
So yeah. So it's a lot of that. I don't know if it's his mental. Get the hell off me. A lot of that I don't know if it's like a part of his mental illness. Where maybe he believes that this happened, and then you know what I mean? Like it's just so
mhm,
conflicting because,
yeah,
like I said in the beginning, that a lot of his letters, he'll say something and then he contradicts himself, saying something completely different. These letters, by the way, where he's like, they peer pressure me, and it's like, no, I did it. By the way, these were letters that he sent back to back. So it's like, you know,
yeah.
um,
I don't know what it is. I again, like you think it's just like lying over and over, like again, just for attention.
I
Like I
I
feel like
think it is
everything
because
just kind of goes back to like he wants attention. It's very attention
so,
starved.
okay. So again, we go back to his conflicting stories. And one of the stories he said he joined the military and he was very gung ho and patriotic. He wanted to set the world right. and he was just ready to go into a fight. He's like, I'm ready to go into a fight. In another letter, he said, I didn't even want to carry a firearm.
He didn't want to carry a weapon, and he
like I don't
almost
want to
got
carry.
kicked out for that.
Yep, because he refused to carry a weapon. But he was actually a really good marksman,
Yep.
which was crazy because he had that shitty M16, and that M16 was a piece of shit. Anyway, and he was like pretty good with it. He actually qualified for expert marksman, which is insane.
What
You
did
know,
he
for
hit? Like
somebody
37 out of 100 or something?
no, he hit. I think it was like 27 out of 30 for qualification for a marksman. If it couldn't be, if you hit 37 out of 100, that's not good.
I don't
That's
know. No, I think no. I think like what I heard was like he hit. I don't remember. I'll look it up later. Say it on the next.
So he qualified. Yes, there for the next video. He qualified for marksman, and for that you need to have a very small margin of error. The whole saying, aim small, miss small. Anyway, so he did that, and then he begins to smoke pot and do LSD. And he says, I didn't touch the heroin, but then he talked about how he did heroin with a hooker. So again, it's just the conflicting stories, and he begins to kind of treat a prostitute like a girlfriend. Her name was and I've been saying it all day. Her name was Miss Chet. Miss Chet was who he went to go visit. Almost that, yeah, Miss Chet. It sounds like a Hispanic guy angry and screaming, Chet.
You know, said it like 100 times today. It's insane.
Yeah, Miss Chet. So he would actually go and visit this hooker, even to the point where he said, "Well, okay." One of my favorite letter from this whole thing was when he said, "And there was a beautiful Korean woman. She was a sex worker, and she was very clean. So I didn't even bother utilizing a contraceptive." He said, "So I didn't need to protect myself because she was very clean. But then I got gonorrhea. But still, she was very clean." And even if she was with a client, I would wait for her to be done, and then I would buy her lunch, walk around with her around the town. I was even late for my duties and for my post because I was spending time with Miss Chet, you know. And
I mean, it's because he lost his virginity when he was 19, so he was
to a
young.
hooker.
Yeah, I think that was the only time that he ever did anything was when he was.
Yeah, I was with prostitutes. So anyway, so he he was dependable as a soldier, but he was late or MIA a lot of the times, but he would follow orders. So they're like, well, if it was wartime and that was happening, he would have been thrown out a long time ago. But because they were just there preparing, they say that he would go AWOL. No one knew where he was. Eventually, they found out like he's the local soldiers were like he's with the hooker, because that's how. And he talked about how beautiful they were, and he talked about the price. Madam Chet, yeah, she wasn't the madam, she was a miss. Madam was the lady that sold her. Miss Chet, you can get the girlfriend experience from her for $5 a week.
What a steal!
What a steal! Who can pass on a bargain, son? So
$5 a week.
So eventually, he was honorably discharged. Like you completed your service, and he returns to Fear City. No, not yet.
Mm-mm.
Oh, he returns home.
He went to Kentucky.
Oh, that's right, Kentucky, that famous chicken. He's probably looking for hookers out there. So he went and he started to basically not know what to do with his life because he was no longer in the military and he had like no plans. So he starts taking jobs as a security officer, as a cab, anything he can find.
Well, in Kentucky, that was before he was discharged. He got stationed at Fort Knox.
But what was he doing there? Nothing.
I mean, probably not. He wasn't doing anything before either. And that's why he started to go to church.
Yes, he became a Baptist, right?
Became a Baptist because he wanted to pray because he felt empty.
I felt empty, so I went down to the house of the Lord. I
That was
went
him,
down the house. Yeah, that
except
was
with
him. And to the what?
an accent. You have to do it with an accent.
Oh, oh. With a New York accent?
Yeah, go.
Going down to the house of the Lord. This guy said, "Hey, over there, you with the curly hair, you fuck, what are you doing? You, if you don't sing these hymns correctly, I'll come down there and I'll break your friggin' arm." That's how he sang his hymns.
Wow. Turned into a rap.
With him?
A little bit.
Break your friggin' arm. Uh, I'll break it like one of the breadsticks from Manigadoshi's and her famous. Oh, the best whole breadsticks in all damn town. Don't let anybody tell you different. Um, so anyway, so yeah, so he becomes a Baptist and he finally belongs, right? And he was saying that he just felt empty. He needed to pray the desire for hookers away. He had no place in life, and because again, a lot of people, especially back then, as soon as you arrive back into the American soil, you have a plan. What are you
Mm-hmm.
gonna do now? I'm gonna go. He had nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Arrived, had nothing to do. What are you doing? I don't know.
Well, he was setting
So,
fires. A
well,
little
yeah.
bit
There's
here
that. I
and
guess that was his hobby. He was the Human Torch. Um,
here and there. He
you know,
would think, oh my God, when he got back to New York and he was doing that, he would call himself the Phantom of the Bronx.
the Phantom of the Bronx sounds like somebody that randomly breaks into song in the middle of the road.
Yeah, like
Who am I?
the Phantom of the
I'm no one.
This dude, that's probably where he got it.
Mischance, and you gave my heart gonorrhea. Mischance. Yeah, the Phantom of the Bronx.
Phantom of
Where's the cave?
what a
What a dumbass.
let's see.
Fucking worse
Yeah.
than radio. Um, so what?
Hmm?
What happened? So, all right. So you have, you know, a Baptist church, and then later he said, then I just kind of got bored with religion and he left it.
Hmm.
Because one of the things that people noticed about him was that no matter what he started, he would never complete.
No.
You know, he would start with something, stick with it for maybe weeks, and then just drop it. Like, well, that's it. Just like the whole thing in the military. When he was in the military, they said that he was gung ho, and then he just got bored with it and started chasing hookers. You know,
Yeah.
same thing. Same thing with this. He belonged. He said he belonged, and then just got bored. Like, oh, it's not for
I
me.
think after he got baptized, he got discharged, and so then he was like, you know what? Now I can, fill my life with arson.
Fires. Yeah, I'm gonna fill my life with fires. I like to
Yeah.
think that he drew like a flame on his T-shirt. Just like a little fireball. And,
Maybe.
and like a little thing, like a Ninja Turtle. Only he's the Phantom of the Bronx.
Phantom of the Bronx.
Imagine his like dumpy ass, like trying to be quiet. He looks like when he sneaks, he would go like this.
Just like the
They're
Hammer.
like, yeah, like who the fuck is that big motherfucker over there with a box of matches?
What was he setting
Trying
fire
to
to?
the what? He's okay.
A homeless
He
person?
no he said he was, yeah. He said he was setting fires to like dry brush by apartment complexes, and just things like that.
He did that when he was older too, because he wanted to
Yeah, so
set
he's
fire
just
to his apartment building so that he could call the so you could call the fire department and be labeled a hero.
yeah, he did it. Everybody, he's wearing a fire shirt. Why the fuck you wearing that costume?
He would steal. Dude, I don't even think we mentioned that when he was younger, he would go to like the fire station and he put on the like the firefighter stuff, like he'd put it
Yeah,
on and
he
he'd
put on the
go
gear.
home and they'd be
Probably
like, you
put the
can't,
hell.
He put everything on, and he would leave, and they would have to go and like go to his house and be like, "Dude, like you can't be taking this stuff. Like,
You, you can't. Yeah, yeah. What are you doing? You can't be. Why are you wearing my helmet on your dick? What are you doing? You know, it's just they're like, well, forget about it. You know, just
sorry, you
you
tell
know,
he was
what
so
are you
weird.
doing? You
He was
know?
so weird. He
He
would
was
say
a
these
weird
weird
guy.
things. And then also he had
It's
like really like typical like New York, or I guess like stereotypical New York like jobs. Like he was a cab driver,
a cab
uh,
driver.
a
Oh, that
mailman.
was my favorite. Yeah, a mailman. Excuse me, sir. Do you hate dogs? Yes, I do. Whoa, you found your people. Um,
Yeah.
a, a taxi driver. To me, that was crazy. I was thinking earlier about just like him. Just drive. Imagine you're over there, like, oh, I need to get home because blah blah blah. Taxi, and then like David Berkowitz, like, he like, yeah, step on in, and you get in, and he's like driving. He's like, I noticed that you don't have a wedding ring on your finger. What's going on? And then they're like, oh, it's just, yeah, girlfriend trouble. Oh, believe me, Miss Chet. Oh, Miss Chet, she was a wild one. Let me tell you, I would go over there and I could gag at them at that. And I'm like, excuse me, sir, can you drop me off right here, please? He's like,
Poor
where you
guy.
going?
He was in a long
Where you
distance
going?
relationship.
It's a long distance relationship with a hooker.
That sucks.
Um. So yeah, so he's like, it's great. You know what? All day people have been telling me to drop off right here. If I had a doll, if every single time somebody said just drop me off right here, I would have made a big salary. Anyway, so yeah, he had a taxi driver, all these kind of weird fucking jobs. A lot of it was just some of the descriptions that were given was that he would bumble around. So
Hmm.
you just
He was just
bum.
like he was like a cartoon character, like just so many weird things like he would do and that would happen to him. He got a job at like as like a security guard, and he got like bitten by
Mhm.
a dog,
He
but
got bit by a dog.
he was the only one that wanted to work with the dogs. Like
Yeah,
it's
he's like,
so weird.
jeez, and damn, yeah, no one wanted to work with dogs. He did. He got bit by the dog. Like,
And he still was
not
like, oh, cool.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was fine. And then he became a mailman,
Hmm.
and it's just fucking crazy. And
He would like move a lot. The first, I mean, okay, so he was like in the Bronx or whatever. He moved to Yonkers, and there was when I think everything kind of started going downhill. Uh,
when
yeah,
when he
he
moved to Fear City,
he met the German Shepherd.
he met the German Shepherd. So
Mhm.
yeah, and he says that the German Shepherd had human eyes as it was looking at him. Whatever the fuck that means. I like to think that the dog was talking to him, and then he was like, "Wait a minute, you can talk?" And the dog went, "Bro," when he found out that
Oops.
yeah, Horror Magnum, yeah, kind of like look, he's getting the gun.
Oh,
Um, zoinks. So so he talks about how he was so stupid. He was out there at night and he can hear this dog. Was that the dog that was yelling at him out the window? Like he was like, I can hear him out there. And he
yeah.
went downstairs and shot it.
Yep. That was the
So
dog.
he heard somebody shouting at him. He says he looks out there and there was this dog. And he said the dog was looking right at him and the dog was speaking. And he's like, hey, you're a dog. You're not supposed to talk. And he's like, yeah, I can talk, you fat curly haired fuck. Like I can talk. And I'm also a dog. So I have good hearing. So I can hear what you do to yourself at night. You have no shame. Who the fuck's Miss Chet? And so, so he went down there. eh, Are you okay?
And I'm just crying. It's such a sad story.
Who's Miss Chet? It's like he's fucking. so, so so he went down there and he shot the dog. And
He got bit. thought the dog was possessed.
The elite.
A
Yeah, the dog
demon.
was possessed. He was a demon, and he was like a high-ranking general in the demon army. You
Mm.
know, like he was a like he was a pet for Kiss. Remember Kiss? They called themselves Hell's Army or Satan's Army, whatever the fuck
Oh
they
yeah,
were.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so it was like he was a mascot. Bro. So he ended up just like fucking painting the wall with his dog. And he said that when he shot it, he wasn't expecting it to do anything to the dog. He says, but then it was fur and meat everywhere. He was like, okay. Shot it with a 12 gauge shotgun.
That's so nasty. It,
It's 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 bad.
moving
Um,
along.
moving along. Um, so he
After
thought he was
that,
gonna have peace and quiet, but he didn't. He says that
yeah,
he can he
could hear the dog, and then he decided he wanted to learn more about himself. I guess maybe he thought he was going crazy, and he wanted to see where it was coming from. And
yeah,
he found out his real name, and then he went to look for his mommy.
he went to go look for his mom. And back then, that's why now when there's like closed adoptions, they didn't have such a thing back then. But that's one of the reasons why is because there was cases where a person would find out that their adopted parent, the parents that put them up for adoption, abandoned them, and then they were easily found, and a lot of the times it ended with violence. So they ended up saying they ended up putting a system in place where it's like, okay, close the okay, you don't want to find, okay, this person will never be able to find you. They would say that in paperwork, you're not going to show up. So he ends up going to one of these places. I forget what it's called. Was it called Alma? The
I
organization.
have no
So there was
idea.
a group which they specialized in helping you find your parents. So he went to this place and he's sitting there and depressed because he's sitting there like eating a bowl of shit. You
Oh,
know. So this guy's like, "Hey, what's wrong, buddy? Why are you eating a bowl of shit?" It's like, "Oh, you know, my mom, my mom died. When I was a baby, and I just want to find out more about her." And it's like, "Why do you think she's dead?" It's like, "Well, that's what my parents told me." And then the guy informed him that a lot of people do that because it's easier on the kid if they believe that the mom left them unwillingly.
mhm.
So they told him like, no, that's what a lot of people are. It's bullshit. And they're full of shit. You know, sign language? And he goes, no, I don't want to say. Well, if you go like this and you go like this, that means bullshit. That's what they did to you. So if you were deaf, so he
Do
told
you
him like,
think he
yeah,
wanted to? Do you think he wanted to find her because he was still like upset about his stepmom or his adoptive
I think,
mom? Stepmom,
I think so.
because she died.
So
I don't know if we mentioned that.
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, she died.
When he was
So
14.
yeah. So she ended up dying, and he took it personal. Like, why would she leave me? And it's like, dude, that's not up to you. You know.
Yeah. Well, he just felt like he wasn't good enough, which, like, uh, like in his head, like, all his moms are dead. So, like,
Mm. He's like, I,
both times it was his fault.
yeah. He's like looking in the mirror, and he's like, I tried to stop you, and you just can't stop killing people. So, so basically, they found. Is that when he like learns his mom's name? When it's like, oh, this is your mom's name,
That's
But
when
they couldn't.
I don't, man. I don't know.
So
No,
this,
because I think what happened was after he got back from the military, he learned his name, like his real name, and that's when he went to find if he had family or whatever.
yeah, and they gave him a name, and they didn't give him like this is the da 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 because they can't do that because they don't know. This is like the what's that? What year was it? 70s still?
Hmm.
Like what decade? And so they couldn't give him that information. So very logically, he went into the phone book and started calling all the numbers that had that name, and he was like, so I said like, hello, I'm your son. And he's like, what? I'm like, what? Hello, I'm your son. Until finally, according to him, she was like, my boy, my boy, my boy is alive. And it's like, did that really happen?
I don't think so. She gave him away.
Yeah. It's like,
Maybe she
yeah.
didn't
Again,
want
this is
to.
probably his. Yeah, I mean, fuck, look up. He was probably born, but that put a picture of him again. Put it up.
Oh no.
Would you want to keep that kid? That's what he looked like when he looks like the Gerber baby if he was like a raging alcoholic.
He came out looking exactly like that. That was him as a
Just like yeah, that was
he was wearing that
he
shirt.
was born. He was born with that stupid shirt.
Yeah,
Looks like
that
he's
shirt and that
looks like
haircut.
he's looks like he stole it off a lesbian. So
That's how they walked him out of the hospital. That's
they're
looking like
like,
that.
they're like, where the hell did he get that shirt? So anyway, so he goes and he finds this woman,
Maybe that's why she
and
didn't.
he, well, yeah, probably it's like that stupid fucking shirt. Like it's embarrassing. People are gonna think it's my shirt. So he finds this woman and he writes her a poem. You know,
Send their Mother's Day card.
a Mother's Day card with a
Like
poem. It
her
said
son.
something like "Mother dearest, I have finally found you. I shot a dog, and it was my fault, not yours. So thank you a lot for putting me up for adoption and throwing me in the dumpster. Now I have found you again, and I will kill more dogs."
Mm-hmm.
That's what he wrote.
Yeah.
Made no sense
Nope.
because he gave up mid poem. It's like everything else. It's like no, just kidding. He didn't write that. It was stupid. I wish I had. Do you have it on?
I don't have it.
No, we'll probably read it next time.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he wrote a dumbass poem, and he decided he wants to be called because he finds out that he had sisters and nieces and nephews.
Mm-hmm.
So he decided he wants them to call. He's like, everybody call me Uncle Richie. What wasn't that his? Was his name Richard?
I don't remember. His name was Richard. Yeah, I just don't remember
Yeah. Okay.
the name.
Yeah, I think it was Richie. So okay, so I this is my fault. I should have double checked. I don't remember if his mom said this or if his sister said this. Because they interviewed damn, there's a lot of people that they interviewed in his life.
It's a
You know,
lot, and like
so he showed
not.
up with that.
I know that like it's bad. You know, he hurt a lot of people. He shot a lot of people, but there's so much stuff, like so much information, so much more information about this case than like others, and this one's not as grotesque. You know, like it's
Yeah,
not as graphic, and there's just so much.
yeah, and it's interesting because Son of Sam was one of those cases where it wasn't like Ed Gein or any of these other things. So you overlook it. You're like, what did he do? Oh, he thought a dog was giving him orders. Okay, but then when he really started, he's an interesting guy.
Yeah, he's
Like,
weird.
he's fucking weird. So
Yeah.
he shows up right with that. Put that fucking picture up again. This douchebag shows up with looking like the Disco Inferno. Fucking shows up to your house, and he, collar pop, hair, like it looks like someone accidentally spilled a tray of hamburger on his chest. Shows up, hair popping out. He's like, "Hey, Uncle Richie's here, Uncle Richie!" And he points at you like this. He gives you the gun. It's like a shooter McGavin. So, and he's bringing. It's so weird because it said that he immediately took to loving his family. He treated them as if they've been in his life like they've been in his life for his entire life. Shows up, hey, and he shows up. He brings cakes. He brought desserts. He brought things, all kinds of shit.
But he
But
was also
then
upset.
it was what?
He was also upset because his mom didn't look like he thought.
Yes, yes, yeah. Okay, so then he started to question whether or not this was the right woman. This is not who he imagined.
Mm-hmm.
So then at some point he was like, you know what? This is weird. He's like, these people, they're not what if they're not, and they just stop showing up. He didn't say bye everybody, and then leaves,
Yeah, he was upset.
with a rucksack over his shoulder, like, with a thumbs up looking for. No, he just fucking left.
Yeah, I think he had said he was upset, one, at like how his mom didn't look like she regretted, like giving him away, and also at the lack of like fathers that like could have had,
Yeah.
but didn't.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he didn't like it.
Yeah. Weird. So he said that he just like didn't want anything to do with him. It's crazy because of the it's again like when we go back to how he would start things in life and then just give up. This is the same thing, only with people. He arrived, he was gung ho, like wow, everybody, and then just decided like, well, take it easy, and he fucking leaves,
This is more
and
what he looks like at the time. Oh, that's not it. Sorry. This one.
yeah, look at that piece of shit. He looks like he runs a fruit stand and he's in competition with the other old man across the street, and he like, and he's like, "Hey, forget about it. Hey, how you doing?" He hits on the women by getting really close to their face, and he's like, "How you doing?" Fucking
Horrible.
meat, dumbass meatball. So anyway, yeah. So that happens, right? He's uncomfortable. He leaves. So be quiet, Roland. Oh, I will Berkowitz you. Roland, come on, man. Okay, I'm grabbing a shit. So anyway, so you have that, right? He gives up on his family, leaves. They said that he never spoke to them again. It's like, what the hell? Not even a goodbye. Just stop talking. It's like, okay.
At that
Um,
point, he is 21, and then he starts to set more fires to the city.
more fire to the city. And at this time, by this time, New York City was, you know, really heavily in debt. There wasn't enough money for the police. There wasn't enough. They start laying off firefighters, cops, all these kind of things. The government sends a package, like a care package for the city. The money disappears. It's going to be distributed amongst corrupt politicians. Crime is rampant. You know, Fear City. That's what. So people were handing out pamphlets. Like a group of people were handing out pamphlets. Like, hey, so if you were to land in New York City at that time, you're like, oh wow, come on, kids, come look at this, and a guy walks up to you and he hands you a pamphlet. Do you have the pamphlet, by the way? Look at that. That is that. I'm getting that tattooed
It looks cool.
on
Like I'm
my
sure a lot of people
so
threw them away, but like honestly,
that looks cool. Welcome
I
to
would
Fear City, a survival guide to the city of New York. It's like, between you and me, what are you doing here? Well, me and my family, we wanted a tour around the city. You know what you should do? Hop on the next plane and get out of here. But get
leave.
get out of here. Get out of here. Why would I get out of here? We wanted to look at Times Square. Oh, Times Square. Times Square. If I had a family, you know what I would do? I would put them on that plane, because Times Square, you're gonna get raped. You're like, what? Like, who? All of us? All of you. You're all gonna you're all gonna get it. I'm telling you right now. Hop on that plane. It's so bad out there that the rapists, they're walking around naked. They don't even bother clothes because they're so busy in between grapes. In between grapes, taking their pants off and then doing this and doing that. There's so much going on there. They didn't even bother. They're just, look at him over there. He's walking around naked.
Yeah, they
You
don't get
know?
a lunch.
It's like, well, yeah, he doesn't even take a lunch break anymore. He just goes one after the other. So he's like, well, we wanted
Not
to, we want, we wanted to see a musical. We wanted to go watch. We wanted to go watch Cats. Yeah, well, you're gonna enjoy the first half because you're probably gonna get murdered. The first half of the presentation, because I don't know if you know this, but 9 out of 10 cast members from Cats are murderers, and the number 10 is a rapist. um. Anyway, so that was Fear City.
that was a good movie.
Yeah, thanks. It's directed by Woody Allen, the pervert. Um, he
It's
was
his
cat
fault
number
that
10.
the voice of David Berkowitz is like that.
Yeah. Oh, oy vey. So anyway,
Ridiculous.
oy vey, my son is gay. So anyway, so you have, this city is fucking falling apart, and here you have this psycho with this storm brewing inside of him, getting ready to just start committing atrocities. And then he starts hearing howls all around the city, and then these howls are beginning to talk to him in a very demonic voice. And and what's crazy is he names the dogs, like gives them nicknames. One of them was named like Big.
We should. I mean,
And one,
we should
should we
probably.
go?
Like, he wasn't crazy. Like he knew that he. Well, he's crazy, but like he knew that he wasn't actually hearing these things.
Well, okay. Well, okay. Listen. So far, for the sake of the story, he was
I'm kidding.
okay.
Okay, go.
So he was walking down the street and he could hear the dog's like, "Yeah, look at that curly-headed fuck! What you doing, you fat boy? You could have quit baseball. How's
Why
Miss
are they
Chet?"
all picking on him?
I don't know. They're all just like yelling shit at him. Hey, Ricky! Hey, that's the guy that walked away from his adopted family. He's like, "Oh, really? Yeah. Hey, guess what? Miss Miss Chet made sure that I got a penicillin shot. Up yours, buddy."
You
So
know,
he's
Dad
hearing all these.
moved away. Dad moved away without him.
The what? Yeah, he did.
He was
Put
adopted.
put
Dad,
his
like,
put his picture back up.
which one?
Fear City. No, I'm kidding. No, that one. You wouldn't if that was your son. No, seriously. Okay, look, I want you to be serious. Okay, if that was your son, wouldn't you abandon him in Fear City during the presentation of Cats?
I wouldn't have even have taken him home.
Yeah, you just left him there,
Presentation of
and then
dogs.
yeah, you would have
No,
just like left him there and just
it was
snuck
so
out of
rude.
there.
Like they adopted him, and then the dad was like, "You know what? My wife's
Yeah,
not even
like
here anymore. I'm just gonna get remarried and also move without you.
yeah.
So good luck."
Yep, get away from him. Look at that stupid. I'm sick of looking at that stupid shirt. So one of the dogs. Dude, I think that next week because we're gonna do a part two because this is such a big story.
Yeah,
Um, Next week we should go down the list of the names of the dogs because he named them. It's fucking weird.
yeah. I
They
gotta
each
look
had
for
like.
those.
I think one of them was like it was almost as if it was a cholo dog because it was like, yeah, it's Big Joker. Look, everybody, Big Joker's here. Hey, what's up, fool? Fucking David Berkowitz. Hey, what are you doing, eh? Fucking wearing that shirt like you're a Sesame Street cholo, eh? Get the fuck out of here, eh? Fucking
If
Miss
any,
Chet. Anyway,
if any of the
so
dogs were gonna pick on him, it would be that one.
that one, they'd be like, hey, look at this fucking. Your mom, is like a piñata because you have to blindfold yourself before you hit it. So anyway,
Jesus, he's dead.
so, yeah, exactly, eh? So it's so So one of the voices, so he killed the leader, remember? He killed the leader of the demon dogs. So they all know that he killed the leader of the demon dogs. And they began to harass him. And then the only way for them to be quiet is they were hungry and they wanted to drink the blood
Hmm.
of a young girl.
And his neighbor was also part of the problem. His neighbor
Yeah.
there was a demon in him,
The
and the
dog?
neighbor's name was Sam. No, the neighbor.
Sam.
Hmm.
The neighbor's the dog. Okay, so the neighbor, his name was Sam. He's like, How are you doing, David? Are you doing okay? With that curly hair, are you doing all right? You remind me of my testicle. Anyway, so he had this neighbor, and his neighbor had a dog. And what vicious breed of dog did he have?
This evil dog was a black lab.
Could you imagine the demon voice coming out of that dog? He's like, "Hello, David. What's going on,
Mickey Mouse.
David? Hey, David, come on. We've got to feed the dogs. We're gonna leave a mark on this town. Fuck them all, David. Fuck them all, David."
Was that dog also like saying stuff to him? Because I know the first one, the German Shepherd, was the one that
Was
he believed was like doing, I don't
the
know, whatever, trying to convince him, and that dog's owner had like an army of devil dogs.
Yeah. Okay. So the black lab um was making these howling and screaming sounds just like that. Um, hey, stop telling me to do bad things.
Call him
So,
over. Everybody can see what kind of evil dog. It's ridiculous.
you wanna see this Are you sure you're ready for this?
No, I'm scared.
Come here, man. Roland, hey, come here. Get up. No. Yeah, sorry, he's just being too evil.
Look at
Roland,
this
come here.
evil dog.
Oh, come on. Oh, he's up. Yeah. He's too busy being evil. Oh,
Look
oh.
at this evil, evil old man. Oh, he's
What are you?
so old. He's so cute.
All right, get out of here, you evil old man.
You
Albert
see?
Fish.
Can you
So
imagine having that as your neighbor?
I could. I'm going to shoot him right now. Don't lick the cat. Leave him alone.
You see? He's already trying to
Anyway,
eat all the pets.
he's already trying to get that cat to kill. So anyway, no, get out of here. I'm not gonna no get out of here. Jeez. Sorry guys. He's evilly wagging his tail at me and like hitting me with it. So anyway, so yeah, so this dog. So then he goes out with a knife. So this dog, what he was doing was telling him, not telling him, but making these shrieking noises, these howls all night long, wouldn't let him sleep.
Mm.
And he knew the only solution was to feed him blood. So he
Damn,
went
why
out.
kill everybody?
Yeah.
Could cleanse
So,
the city or whatever.
like, he's Batman. I'm gonna.
It's insane. He tried to kill this dog. Like, it says in May of 76, he made a Molotov cocktail to kill the dog.
Can you
And he went
imagine if he doesn't? Yeah, because he probably like, made a martini. He's like, drink this. You
water.
know? Yes. I couldn't afford booze, so I put water and then Gatorade.
To be
Anyway,
fair, not fair because it's wrong, but to be fair, he did do that after he attempted to, you know, kill people for the first time. Maybe he
yeah.
thought it
So
was
his
so
first,
guilty. I don't know.
so his first two victims were two girls.
On Christmas Eve.
On Christmas Eve, he went at them with a knife. So he stabbed the first one, and she turned around to look as she was being stabbed because she didn't know what's going on, and she screamed,
She
and
ran away.
she ran away. The other one, he stabbed her on top of the head.
He stabbed her 6 times.
Yep,
And she survived.
and she survived. So here's this dopey doop doo 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 doo. And he said the voices quieted down because he thought they were dead.
Mm-hmm.
And we're back. So yeah, so that was it. That was his first couple of victims. He stabbed them, didn't want to hurt them. He just wanted to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
He thought they died. They didn't die. Stabbed them multiple times. He wasn't even angry about it, like from some of the witness. And he fits like he's so dopey looking that multiple people actually managed to identify him. Like he was a guy that was driving this, da da da, because they gave a description of him. And one of the girls said that when he was stabbing her, like he didn't look angry. He looked kind of mellow, like numb. Okay, I'm just gonna really dopey. So
Just an experiment. But they didn't even
yeah.
sniff him.
Well, no, because look at him. Put that picture up again.
Uh-oh.
Why are we laughing at him?
I mean, I don't know. He's so good looking.
He looks like me.
Okay.
Anyway, all right. Looks like that's it for this episode. We'll do part 2 next week. So anyway, guys. Loot by Lottie, guys, do the 10% lucky loot on your first purchase. The Silver Witch, head on over to her website, thesilverwitch.com, I think it is, and go ahead and look at a bag spell. Merch, we have merch. Go get a shirt, go get a mug, go get all that good stuff. New designs coming up, they'll be coming soon, so check that out. Let's see, it's a Shadow Nation podcast. Head on over on YouTube and go to Shaun Burris' Shadow Nation podcast. So he's got great ghost stories. The Ghost Man, he's pretty fucking awesome. So that's it, guys. Um, Remember to look both ways, especially if you find yourselves in the presentation of cats.